Hi, welcome you all to the series of Statutory Branch Audit 2023. Friends, this is the fourth video in the series. If at all you have missed first three videos, I request you to please visit my channel, The Excelism. Go to the playlist. All the videos in this series you can find there. I strongly recommend you to watch from the first video because every video is linked to the previous video. In this video, I would like to discuss about a very important circular given by the RBI in the year 2020. Let me open the PDF file, automation of income recognition, asset classification, and provisioning processes in banks. This RBI has released on 14th September 2020. The objective of me taking this particular video is that generally as a branch auditor, if you go to the branch manager or whoever the authority tell us that everything happens automatically in our system. You need not too much bother. The entire income recognition, asset classification, provisioning process, and so on. Do we really need to believe that statement? Or do we need to understand something, the background? Based on that, we need to take a call. This video will explain you why you should not believe that and also what are the analytical procedures you need to follow to answer the questions in the LFAR. In this circular, let me read out a couple of paragraphs. We invite a reference to our circular so and so dated on 4th August 2011, in terms of which banks were advised inter alia to have appropriate IT system in place for identification of non-performing assets and generation of related data returns both for regulatory reporting and banks' own MIS requirements. It is, however, observed that the process for NPA identification, income recognition, provisioning, and generation of related returns in many banks are not yet fully automated. This is very important. Banks are still found to be resorting to manual identification of NPA and also overriding the system generated asset classification by manual intervention in a routine manner. This I am not saying, RBI is saying. What RBI is saying, RBI observed that the processes for NPA identification, income recognition, provisioning in many banks not yet fully automated. Also, RBI identified at many banks there is a manual intervention. If that is the case, they have given one more paragraph with a guideline. In order to ensure the completeness and integrity of the asset classification, provisioning calculation, and income recognition process, banks are advised to put in place or upgrade their systems to conform to the following guidelines latest by 30th June 2021. You are doing the audit for the financial year 22-23. For the financial year ended 31st March 2023. That means once you step into the branch, when you are finding any other adverse incident, meaning if you found an account advance which is not NPA through the system, then you have to classify it and you have to give the adverse opinion for the questions in the LFAR. At any cost, the bank should not have any manual intervention with respect to the IRAC provisions and provisioning calculation from 30th June 2021. Let us look into the frequency. The system-based asset classification shall be an ongoing exercise for both downgradation and upgradation of accounts. Bank should ensure that the asset classification status is updated as part of the day-end process. Bank should also be able to generate classification status report at any given point of time with actual date of classification of assets as non-performing assets or non-performing investments. That means if you ask For a specific date report for the classification of advances, banks must be in a position to give. I still remember in some of the banks earlier, the NPA process used to be month end. But after this circular, they have to make their process day end. You can ask any date report with respect to the classification, they must be in a position to give. If they are not in a position to give, you can answer the questions in the LFAR in an adverse way. Let me open LFAR report, LFAR revision circular by the RBI. I bother about branch auditors annexure. In this, let me go directly to the advances. From the old LFAR to the new LFAR, there are many sections added. One of the section added is section number F, asset classification, provisioning of advances, and resolution of stressed asset. Let me concentrate these two for this video. If I can connect these two with this automation circular, you can find the answers and objective behind the questions why RBI asked about this. There are a couple of questions. Has the branch identified and classified advances into standard, substandard, doubtful, loss assets through the computer system without manual intervention? Because they have given a circular, they requested banks to follow all these guidelines latest by 30th June 2021. You are bound to answer this question. 99% of the cases, we simply give S for this question. Because we ask the banker will say, sir, everything happens in the system automatically. But you must need to have your own analytical procedures to confirm yourself whether the branch identified and classified advances properly. There is another question. Is this identification and classification in line with the norms prescribed by the RBI? For this also, you should have your own analytical procedures. The very important questions, the third one, whether the branch is following the system of classifying the account into SMA 0, SMA 1, and SMA 2. Whether the auditor disagrees with the branch classification of advances into standard, substandard, and loss assets, the details of such advances with reason should be given. You should ask the branch, could you please provide your SMA 0, 1, 2 accounts list for different intervals in the financial year 22-23. Then you should have your own analytical procedures. Then, using your analytical procedure, you will identify whether a specific account is into SMA 0 or SMA 1 or SMA 2. Compare the same with the report given by your branch. If any deviation, then you should ask the branch manager the reason, and you must need to provide those reasons here. And if at all you find in any instance in the system itself, it has not classified properly, you can give your adverse opinion for all these questions. You have to qualify your report. That's all in this video. In the next video, we will talk more about analysis part. Thank you so much.